now today's concept is arrays. So this is our today's concept. We'll make agenda for this arrays. So first of all, we'll see single dimension arrays, single dimension arrays like a static declaration and a dynamic declaration. Single dimension arrays with static declaration as well as dynamic declaration. Second, same thing we'll discuss with the double dimension. Double dimension here. Double dimension array, static double dimension array and dynamic double dimension array. Third one, we'll see how to pass an array to a method. ఒక మెథడ్ కి అరే ఎలా పాస్ చేయాలి. Then how to return arrays from methods. Okay. For this, I'll introduce a loop called for each loop. Okay. So, ఈ single dimension and double dimension static and dynamic declaration అయిపోయిన తర్వాత for each అనే ఒక లూప్ మీకు ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేస్తాం. ఎక్స్క్లూజివ్ అరేస్ కోసం వాడతాం ఈ for each లూప్స్. నెక్స్ట్ పాస్ an array to a method, return arrays from methods. లాస్ట్ వచ్చేసి మనం anonymous arrays. లాస్ట్ anonymous arrays గురించి డిస్కస్ చేద్దాం. Right. So first let us start with the single dimension arrays. And the first question, very common question again, what is an array? That is so tomorrow's class will be at the same time, 2 o'clock untundandi class. So class time is not going to be an exam time. Mana 2 to 4 class మామూలు general గా ఉంటుంది. But better you can plan the exam before the class or after the class. Immediately I'll send you those marks and everything to your email address. Yeah. So what is an array? So this is array is a data structure. Array is a data structure. Then what it stores? That stores fixed size of elements of similar type. That stores fixed size of elements of similar type. Okay, so probably an array can hold collection of variables, right? Where every variable stores a value, but here you are not going to declare multiple variables. By using only one single array variable, we can hold multiple variable values. Okay, so you can convey this like variables or values. Collection of values of same data type. This is generalized. Okay, suppose if you would like to store 5 subject marks of a student, assume that if you would like to store 5 subject marks of a student, how many variables do we need to create for that? 5 variables. Instead of creating 5 variables, better you can create an array and make that size as 5. That would be better to store the marks, isn't it? So which one is better? Creating 5 variables is better or creating an array is better? So always we'll prefer the data structure array for such type of operations. Exclusively for that such type of operations we use the arrays concept to hold multiple values is by under a single name. ఒక నేమ్ తో మల్టిపుల్ వాల్యూస్ ని హోల్డ్ చేయాలంటే array is the one and only way for us. Then how the array structure is going to be? An array is a fixed size like this. It has some brackets, boxes here, where every box will be identified by using an index number, so on like this. So depends on the size of array, the number of boxes are going to be increased. If it is your array, so this is a signature of array. We have to make the array signature with the square brackets. So this square bracket is one dimension. So how many brackets we are using here? One box, one open and one close. So this is going to be single dimension, where this array can store multiple elements here. So element 1, element 2, element 3, and element 4. So like this, so on. Element n number of elements, depends on that. Then the index, the first element is 0, second element is 1, third element is 2, and the fourth element is 3, so on. You can have n number of indexes. You can have n number of indexes, depends on that. Right? Then what is the size of your array? So the size of array is going to be the last index plus 1. The last index is where n is the last index, where n is last index. So size of your array is last index plus 1. Suppose if your array size is 5, it starts from 0 and it will end at 4. So what would be the last index? That is total length minus 1, that is your last index. So how to get the last index? Last index is equal to, how to get the last index means length of the array minus 1. That would be your last index. And the start index, that would be the 0. 0 is our start index. So depends on this index, based on this indexes, we need to access your array by using an array name. Assume that our array name is ARR. In the brackets, if I give the index as 1, array of 1, now I am trying to access element 2, isn't it? Array of 1 and cheptunanu. Array of 1 and first index, not the first element. First element kaadu, first index. Ante index 1 ekkada undi? Ikkada undi. So what is the value there? What is the value with index 1? That is element 2. That is the value for index 1. Now it returns element 2 here. So to get the last element, error of length minus 1. Error of length minus 1, definitely it shows you the last element. So the last element is depends on element n. That would be the element n, the last index, whatever it may be the size. Right? So first index, error of 0. So then it shows the element 1 as a first index, the 0 index. The starting index is this one. This is the starting index, and here array of 0 for that. So array of 0, this is like how to access the arrays here. So array of 0 returns the element 1 as a first element, and the index is 0. And ARR1, it returns element 2 here. Element 2, ARR of 1 in the sense 1 index. And How to access the last element? For accessing the last element, we should have to use the length minus 1 here as an index, because the total length, if your array size is 10, what's the last index of size array 10? That is 9. So that the length minus 1 makes that as error of 9, then it returns the last element, that is n number of element. The last element is going to be the n. Okay, that's it. Now let us see how to create the array syntactically for static arrays and for dynamic arrays. Syntax. Wait. So for static, see, static array, the array in the sense you are not going to declare the array as a static, but let me show you the static declaration first. First of all, the syntax will go like this: data type, some array name, and the brackets, square brackets is equal to. Here you have to start a set bracket. There the set bracket. This set bracket will hold collection of elements. So n1, n2, n3, n4, so on. The nm. Okay, we can have m number of elements, where the value n here, it depends on the type, data type. If the data type is integer, here the n would be the integer, like some integer value, whatever it may be, within the size of integer. If it is a character, you are allowed to put only characters within the single quotes like this. Okay, so this would be the right value for a character, and like this you have to provide the collection of characters for your character. So if it is a double, we have to provide double values. Float values. If it is string, then we have to provide multiple strings, set of strings can be stored here. Okay. So static array and static keyword to declare cheyemu, but ila fixed ante the size is going to be fixed for that. That is not going to be dynamic, and we are not able to insert the values dynamically for this. Values in dynamic ఇవ్వలేమంతే. మన ప్రోగ్రామ్ రాసేటప్పుడే డిక్లేర్ చేసేసాలి, ఇనిషియలైజ్ చేయాలి. So this is the declaration part. This is declaration, and is equal to, this is called assignment. So what is this? This is declaring an array. So this is going to be initialization, declaring the array and initializing the array here. Okay, and both of them can be in the same line. Rendering same line lo. So if we provide that in the same line, then that would also be fine. There would be no issues with that, but still it works without any issues, where initialization and declaration happens at the same line. So that is the only difference. Okay, it doesn't matter, even you can declare it once and after that we can assign, or at the time of declaration also we can assign that array. Okay, so clear about this static array. For example, if I'm creating an integer IAR is my array name, and the brackets here, the bracket says the array declaration. Now let me assign the array. So I have just declared the array, I didn't assign any values to this. Well, let me assign. Now it can hold multiple values, so that value should be integer. Okay, that is, the value should be integer, but not any other type. Of course, the character works with integers I'll speak about that later. Okay, don't get confused. And if I would like to declare some double DARR, now we can use some double values like this. How many elements we have here? 3 elements. Here, how many elements we have declared for integer? Total 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5. One element and another element should be separated by a comma. So comma operator is used to separate one element and another element in the arrays. For strings, you can declare a string str of is equal to, here we can store the string. String should be in the double quotes, right? See, there are some set of words here, set of words. So this set of words are grouped by a name called str, where str is a array of what type? String type. So that we are able to assign some set of string values to a single name str. Now str is going to be an array here. So like this we can declare static arrays. So at the time of writing the program only we have to initialize the values. So program రాసేటప్పుడు values initialize చేస్తే దాన్ని static arrays అంటారు. After the program అయిపోయిన తర్వాత values initialize చేస్తే to at the time of dynamically if you ask the user to enter values for your array then those arrays are going to be dynamic arrays. Okay, right? ఇక్కడ ఇంటీజర్ అరే కాబట్టి ఇంటీజర్ వాల్యూ స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాం. డబుల్ అరే కాబట్టి డబుల్ వాల్యూ స్టోర్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఇది స్ట్రింగ్ కాబట్టి స్ట్రింగ్ అసైన్ చేస్తున్నాం. Can I assign here a character? If I can assign a character? No, I cannot assign a character because the type of that array is a string type, but that is not a character type. Then there should be string. Okay, that is fine. Whether string is a class or integer primitive data type. I told you the string is not a primitive, but integer, double, char, boolean, float, and rest of them are rest of the keywords are primitive data keywords, data type keywords. But string is not a primitive, and array is also not a primitive. So if you create a class array like this, now str is a class array. It is an array to which class? String class. You know that already we have created a bean class. We have discussed about a bean class. Let me show you that bean class. I forget the name of the bean class. I think we created for employee or student. The variables we have created later. No, not this. Yes, student is there. So this is a bean class. So there are some characteristics for a bean class like data members must be private, setters and getters. Setters should accept a parameter and getters should return the values and that should not contain main method. So this is a perfect bean class. Okay. Now I would like to create multiple objects here. Just wait. Let me open the test class. See how many objects I'm creating here. 3 objects in 3 different variables. S1, S2, S3. I don't want to store it like this. మీకు ఆల్రెడీ ఇందాక టాపిక్ స్టార్టింగ్ లో నేను చెప్పాను మీకు ఒక స్టూడెంట్ డీటెయిల్స్ ని మల్టిపుల్ మార్క్స్ అంటే మల్టిపుల్ సబ్జెక్ట్ మార్క్స్ స్టోర్ చేయాలంటే 5 సబ్జెక్ట్ మార్క్స్ స్టోర్ చేయాలంటే 5 వేరియబుల్స్ అవసరం లేకుండా అరేని 5 సైజ్ లో డిక్లేర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అని చెప్పాను. ఇప్పుడు నాకు 5 ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి where one reference variable can store only one value at a time. S1, S2, S3 are called as reference variables. Okay. If you might have created any integer, now the v is a variable, a variable, primitive variable. S1, S2, S3, S3 are also the variables. What type of variables? They are reference variables. ఎప్పుడు ప్రిమిటివ్ వేరియబుల్ అంటాం? ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ మేడ్ అప్ ఆఫ్ ప్రిమిటివ్ డేటా టైప్. ఎప్పుడు రెఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్ అంటాం? ఇఫ్ దే రిగార్డ్స్ టు ఎనీ క్లాసెస్, ఏదైనా ఒక క్లాసెస్ సంబంధించిన వేరియబుల్ ఉంటే అది రెఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్. ఒక డేటా టైప్ సంబంధించిన వేరియబుల్ ఉంటే అది ప్రిమిటివ్ వేరియబుల్. ప్రిమిటివ్ వేరియబుల్ ఆల్వేస్ స్టోర్స్ ప్రిమిటివ్ వాల్యూస్, బట్ రెఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఆల్వేస్ స్టోర్స్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ కదా. ఇప్పుడు మల్టిపుల్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ స్టోర్ చేయాలి ఒకే నేమ్ తో. మల్టిపుల్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ అంటే array of objects, isn't it? I would like to store array of objects. Now let me create a student array. Student st array. See, I'm creating the student array, not the student variable. Now the single student variable can store only one object. It can store only one object at a time. ఒకసారి ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్ స్టోర్ చేస్తుంది. అదే ఇది అరే అయితే దీన్నే అరే చేసాం అనుకోండి, then that is going to be a set of numbers. A set of objects can be stored. So it can store multiple new student values. New student, new student, new student, new student, like this. So how many objects I'm assigning to this now? To this STAR, to the student array, I'm assigning object 1, object 2, object 3, and object 4. There are 4 objects. Similarly to the primitives. Primitives ఎలా ఉంటున్నాయో, strings ఎలా ఉన్నాయో, సేమ్ అలాగే ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయి. ఓకే. So let us do the arrays programs. So hope the static declaration is fine with you. I'll create a package to make arrays programs separately. APSSDC.arrays. Finish. Now right click on this, new class, create basic array. See here, I'm going to declare an integer array, AR1. So can it hold multiple values here? See, there is an error because your variable is not array variable. If you would like to make it as array variable, you have to use these brackets. Now there is no error. Now start declaring the values. There are multiple values. Then how can I access these values? See, first of all, we'll try to find the length of an array. Length of array is, the length of array is. So there is a property called length property for array, for any kind of array. So all of these array sizes can be retrieved by using a property called length, but that length property should be called by using array object. So internally every array is an implicit object in Java. Java lo arrays ni implicit objects ani kuda antaru. So we can use this arrays as objects like ar1 dot. See, there are some properties or functions that we can call with arrays. Okay. Now I would like to call the length. That is an inbuilt property of array object. Okay. So arr1 dot length. Now it returns the size of arr1. In AR1, how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will definitely return the value 6. Now you can see the output. So the length of array is 6. Length of array is 6. So how to get the start element? Start value. What is the starting value? AR1 of 0. This is the starting value. but for ending value, I mean the last value, how to find the last value? By getting the length. Very simple. Year1 of year1 dot length minus 1. I told you year1 dot length minus 1. That means that if the total array length is 6, the last index would be 5. So 6 minus 1, 5. So obviously, what is the when the compiler compiles this program, what is the index it will put there? So that is to put the index as 5 over here. So when if you execute this program, JVM will insert 5 instead year1 dot length minus 1. Because JVM is only compiling this, sorry, executing this. JVM కదా దీన్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు JVM ఇక్కడ ఏం ప్లేస్ చేస్తుందంటే ఈ ప్లేస్ లో 5 అనే వాల్యూ పెట్టేస్తుంది. బికాస్ యువర్ అరే సైజ్ ఇస్ 6, it puts 5 instead of putting this statement. ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్ బదులు అక్కడ 6 అని పెట్టి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ 5 అని పెట్టి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తుంది. So first index 0, second index 1, third index 2, fourth index 3, and fifth index 4, and sixth index is this one is 6. This one is 5. Sixth index is 5. So that is your last index. I can see the values, the start value and last value. The start value is 64, last value is 144. 64 and 144. Okay. Yes. So similarly, I'm speaking about array of objects. So here we have array of primitive values, isn't it? ఇవన్నీ primitive values కాదా? 64, 895, 656 ఇవన్నీ primitive values. సో array of objects ఎలా క్రియేట్ చేసుకోవాలి? Array of objects. If I create a string array, str is equal to string array is equal to some set. We can make a set, can assign some values. Okay, now this is a string array. Of course, string is not a primitive, string is a non-primitive. So what are the variables we are creating for the string? Those variables are reference variables but not primitive variables. So these reference variables can be acted like objects. Yeah, of course. Now how to iterate, I mean how to make all the elements to be executed at a time. Okay, sorry, any elements execute cheyadaniki elaga. Then we need to write a for loop. Okay, so just write a for loop for int I equal to 0. What is the initial value, initial index? 0. And that should go up to ఎంతవరకు వెళ్ళాలి అది I ఎంతవరకు వెళ్ళాలి till the length, right? So here the size is 3. Now I less than 3 అని ఇవ్వకూడదు. You should not give it like this. Better you can find the length of the array currently. The current length of the array. str arr dot length. Then you can say I++. So in the sysout, instead of displaying the array value like str arr of 0, to display the next value we have to make another println, and the index value is going to be changed to 1, and for another element the index value is going to be changed to 2. అలా static గా ఇవ్వకుండా just I అని చెప్తే చాలు. When if you put I here, by default the index starts at 0 and that index will end at 2 దగ్గర క్లోజ్ అవుతుంది. సో సైజ్ చూడండి, what is the size here? 3. The array size is 3 and initial size is 0 and the total length is 3 here. So 0 less than 3, true or false? If it is true, it enters into the block. ఈ బ్లాక్ లోకి ఎంటర్ అవుతుంది. In this block here we have strr of I. strr of I in the sense we're accessing the ith position of element. Ith position లో ఏ ఎలిమెంట్ ఉందో ఆ ఎలిమెంట్ ని యాక్సెస్ చేస్తుంది. So what is the initial value of phi? 0. So here the condition is 0 less than 3, which is a true condition. If it is true, it executes this one. Then st error of 0 it shows. St error of 0. In the st error of 0, we have the value India. 0th element value in the India. Okay, next it will rotate for the next iteration. Next iteration rotate outundi. It will go for I plus plus second time. Now I becomes 1. The updated value will be matched with the condition again. మళ్ళీ condition తో చెక్ చేస్తుంది అప్డేట్ అయిన వాల్యూని. 1 less than 3 or not. True. True అయితే ఇప్పుడు లోపలికి వెళ్తుంది. Now what is the current I value? 1 అంటే strarr. So array of 1 అంటే array of 1 is England. England. Again it keeps on iterate for next iteration. It goes with 2 now. Okay, so the 1 becomes 2 here with I plus plus. Then again it's going to check the condition 2 less than 3. Yes, of course that is true. So strarr of 2, then it shows America. Again it keeps I plus plus. I value is 3, where 3 less than 3 is going to be false. So your program will stop at that. Okay, so up to what value the condition would be true here? Up to length minus 1 value. సో మన టోటల్ లెంగ్త్ మైనస్ 1 వాల్యూ వరకు ట్రూ అవుతుంది. ఎప్పుడైతే లెంగ్త్కి వస్తుందో ఆటోమేటిక్గా ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఫెయిల్ అయిపోతుంది. అదే ఐ మీన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కాదు, లూప్ ఫెయిల్ అయిపోయి టర్మినేట్ అయిపోతుంది. See the execution. See, we have all the words: India, England, America. And how to display this one? ERN ఎలా డిస్ప్లే చేయాలి మనం ఇంత ముందుకు రాసిన వెరీ సింపుల్. Better you can make comment for all these things. Yeah, I'll declare for int I is equal to 0, I less than. Now the array name is ar1 dot length, then I plus plus. The system dot outer println, then you can show ar1 of I. Just a second, I'm getting a call from APSSDC-CoreNuts. Just a minute. Yeah, just a minute. They're asking for URL. Yes, okay. Let's continue the class. Uh, so I usually starts at 0. I less than the length I plus plus here. So I will be 0. Then I will be 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5. Till 5 that will be true. After 5, the 5 becomes 6 with I plus plus. So then 6 less than 6 is going to be false. If it is false, it just come out of the loop. The program will be terminated after that. See, we can see all the values of your array now. 64, 895, 6, 56, 321 and 144, right? Now what I'm saying is, so this is like how to create a reference class array. Now how can you make array of objects for user defined classes? Let us take our class student. Student array, but there is an issue with the student array because the student class is not in the package, in the same package. It is not in the arrays package, but the student class is available in variables package. Under the variables we have student. See the student. The student is in variables, but this current program is in arrays. Now we should have to import the package, right? By using import statement, import APSSDC dot variables. Okay, APSSDC dot variables. Which class would you like to import? I would like to import student. So from this package, I'm accessing student class. Now for the student class, I can just create object. So student array is equal to, in the set actually I can declare multiple objects. So always the object is new student. Again new student. Second object. And again the third object I'm giving here. So how many objects we have here? We have 3 objects. All these objects in the student array name. Okay, let me show you that with a diagram. So here we have multiple elements. Okay, where every element contains an object, an object, and object. Like this, every element contains an object here. And you know, every student object holds multiple values about the student. So if you can review the student class once here, the student class once, there is a name and ID for every student. Name and ID. So the name variable holds a name, ID variable holds the ID of a student. Every student object holds a name and ID. So what is this? This is student array, and this is object 1 for student, object 2 for student, and object 3 for student. How we are creating object? By calling new student, by calling the constructor like this. Just a second. New. Okay, same thing for the next object also. Again for the last one, like this. So the 3 student objects will be created. Now every student object will hold 2 attributes. Every student object can access 2 attributes. That is also via um, how they can access the attributes means by the setters and getters methods. Okay, so one way is a student object can access set name for setting the name of a student and set ID for setting the ID of a student. Similarly, the next student, the same student object can call get name to retrieve the name of a student, and get ID to get the ID of a student, where the name and ID variables, the name sname and ID variables, both are instance variables. So their memory allocation will be assigned in the object area sname and ID. So sname is equal to some value, then ID is equal to some value, like this. Okay, and it will happen for the next object as well. So every object will hold like this. And every object contains independent instance memories. So for instance variables, they will not be dependent on other objects. ID is equal to same. This name is equal to then ID is equal to, like this. If object 1 calls the set name, let me take the spotlight. Yeah, spotlight here. So if object 1 calls the set name, object 1 dot set name, here, and that sets the name to the global variable as name. Next step, object 1 dot set ID that sets the ID to the global variable ID. Next, object 2 dot set name that sets the name to the global variable as name, and the set ID sets the ID to the global variable ID. Now if object 1 get the name, it returns a global variable as name, the value in the global name variable as name, which is already set by the set name. Set name set చేసిన వాల్యూని get name తో రిట్రీవ్ చేస్తుంది ఆబ్జెక్ట్. సేమ్ అలాగే సెట్ నేమ్ తో సెట్ చేసిన వాల్యూని ఆబ్జెక్ట్ 2 అదే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ తో గెట్ నేమ్ కాల్ చేస్తే ఇక్కడ సెట్ చేసిన వాల్యూ ఇక్కడ గెట్ అవుతుంది. సో సెట్టింగ్ అండ్ గెటింగ్. Okay, the setters here, getters here, setters, getters. So always the setters use it to set the values and the getters use it to get the values. Setter is setting and the getter which is used to get. Okay. Oh, wait. It is playing with me. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So again the set here and the get here. Okay. So this is the approach what you are going to do in this program here. In the array of objects, I am creating student array like this. Student array. And every element contains object. Instead of values, we are pushing objects. ఎందుకంటే ఇది స్టూడెంట్ టైప్ అరే, స్టూడెంట్ లో స్టూడెంట్ వేరియబుల్ ఏం స్టోర్ చేయగలం, స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. బట్ ఇది అరే కదా, కాబట్టి అరే ఆఫ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ స్టోర్ చేయగలం. సింపుల్, ఇట్స్ వెరీ క్వైట్ సింపుల్. ఓకే, నౌ లెట్ us రీడ్ ద వాల్యూస్ ఫర్ ద స్టూడెంట్. ఇప్పుడు స్టూడెంట్ కోసం వాల్యూస్ రీడ్ చేద్దాం. I'll make a for loop here. Int I is equal to 0, I less than student array dot length, then I plus plus. So let us push the values to the array now. So if I say student ARR of 0, that means first object. Ante kada? Student AR of I. Ante first 0, next 1, then 2. All 3 objects are. So now student STUD AR of I ante it returns an object. First time first object return చేస్తుంది, second time second object, third time third object అలా return చేస్తుంది. So now with student object we can call methods called set name and set id, right? చూడండి, now these methods are available for us, the student name and student id. So set name, and I would like to read by using scanner class this value. Before this we have to create the scanner object. Just wait, I'll make scanner object. So yesterday we have discussed about the scanner class. So imported the package here, the scanner package, and creating object. Now let me access this. Input dot next. For name actually next. Name kosam next kada. And the next ante string. Next is used to read the string. And the set name method takes a string only. See the set name method, it takes a string argument. So అందుకని next ని పంపించేస్తున్నాం. Next is the argument for that, because next returns the string whatever the user have entered. So here I'll give a notification like enter student name. Enter student one name. Second iteration లో enter student name. అంటే I0 అయితే +1 యాడ్ చేసి student 1 అని చూపిస్తుంది, student 0 అని చూపించు. ఓకే, కాబట్టి మీరు I కూడా చూపించవచ్చు, బట్ I don't want to show from 0. I would like to show from 1 only. Okay, yeah, then enter student I plus 1. That means sorry, this is for ID. First name read చేసాం, ఇప్పుడు ID read చేస్తున్నాం by using the same student array of I dot set ID. This time set ID, and the supposed method to be read for integers. Integers read cheyadaniki what is the method supposed to call? Next int method. Now that is a parameter for set id. The argument is next int, that is an integer, and where in the method signature for set id integer is an parameter and the integer type is the argument, so both are matched. So after this, so first time in the first iteration, when I is equal to 0, when I starts at 0, so 0 less than some length, then it try to show you the message enter student one name, so that you are going to input something, that user input value will be set as a name to the student. Next it will show you enter student id. So after that we are going to push some id, that id will be read as an integer, and that integer will be placed to the set id method, so that the set name will set the name as a global variable and the set id sets the id as a global variable here like this. Now if you call a set name, first it will try to set some name to this, the set id. If you input some value, that value will be set to this. Now get name returns what? S name only. Get id returns what? id. Okay, so what are the values set by the set name? The same values are going to be retrieved by get name within the same object but not with other object. Okay, now we are working for object 0. We are working for object 0. Next time if I plus plus, the object is going to be 1 అంటే one object. Second object మీద work చేస్తుంది, second object name and second object id. Then after I plus plus, the third object name and third object ID. So after pushing all these values, in a values and insert చేసిన తర్వాత, let us try to display the value. J is equal to 0, J less than student array dot length, then J plus plus. So in the sort, you can display student I plus 1 details. Okay, I'm trying to show the details of every student by student. I'll display student name. Okay, now where is our object? Our objects is in the array. మన objects ఎక్కడ ఉన్నాయి? Array లో ఉన్నాయి. ఈ array యూజ్ చేసి మనం స్టూడెంట్స్ సెట్ చేసాం, ఆబ్జెక్ట్ సెట్ చేసాం. By using the same array, you are going to call the get name. ఇప్పుడు ఇలా సెట్ నేమ్ ఎలా కాల్ చేశారో సేమ్ అలాగే గెట్ నేమ్ ని కాల్ చేయాలి ఇక్కడ నుంచి. సో std of I dot get name first, because the label is name here. Label name ఉంది కాబట్టి get name కాల్ చేయాలి. Sorry, that is J, right? I కాదు కదా, it is index J. ఎందుకంటే for J equal to 0 కదా మనం తీసుకున్నాం. Similarly for ID also, student array of J dot get ID, and also you can make it as a first ID display చేసి నేమ్ కూడా డిస్ప్లే చేసుకోవచ్చు, ప్రాబ్లం ఏం లేదు. Yes, right. Now shall execute this program. So that is a previous output. ఇంతకుముందు మనం పైన అవుట్పుట్ చూపిస్తున్నాం కదా, ఇది ఈ లూప్. Let me make it as comment. Execute. Enter student 1 name, Johnny. So enter student 1 ID. Next, enter student 2 name. Enter student 2 ID. Enter student 3 now. Some ID. Then if you press enter button, it will go for the next for loop, because the size of this array is ఇక్కడ ఎన్ని new elements new అని enter చేస్తాం మనం. new student అలా మనకు 3 student objects ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి 3 student objects successfully గా push చేసాం. If you press enter button, automatically the values will be displayed by all the students. So student 1 details for ID and name, student 2 details ID name, student 3 details ID name. Right? Got it? It's clear about this? Yeah. So like this, we can also make class arrays. So you can make class arrays specifically like this also. Yeah. Any questions? Anyone has questions? Any questions? Okay, no questions. సో ప్రిమిటివ్ డేటా టైప్స్ కే కాదు, యూజర్ డిఫైన్డ్ క్లాసెస్ కూడా అరే ఆఫ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయడానికి ఈ అరేస్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. ఓకే, సో దీస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ స్టాటిక్ పార్ట్, స్టాటిక్ డిక్లరేషన్స్ ఇలా ఉంటాయి. నెక్స్ట్ విల్ గో ఫర్ డైనమిక్ డిక్లరేషన్. Let me save this ఎంత సేవ్ చేద్దాం. యా హలో, గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్ అండి. Okay, so successfully saved now. Now let us see the dynamic approach, like how to declare the arrays dynamically. Dynamic array declaration for one dimensional. Still we are discussing 1Ds only, one dimensional arrays. Yes, dynamic array declaration of 1Ds, one dimension. So first of all, let me show you the declaration. I mean the syntax. Data type bracket is equal to some array name is equal to new data type. New data type of the size, and we can provide the size in integer. So this is what a dynamic array declaration for one dimension. So in the static array declaration, we are not allowed to insert the size. Okay. So in the data type here, the data type can be anything, even that can be primitive data type or that can be a class type also. And we can create some set of arrays, but based on its size. So now what will happen means the new keyword here, it allocates a space for the array what you'd like to create, and it will not insert the values. అందులో వాల్యూస్ ఏమి ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయదు, బట్ ఎంటీ అరేని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది విత్ సైజ్, గివెన్ సైజ్. ఒకవేళ సైజ్ 5 ఇస్తే 5 ఎలిమెంట్ సైజ్ ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది, బట్ అక్కడ వాల్యూస్ ఏమి ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయదు అనమాట. సో బై యూజింగ్ ద స్కానర్ క్లాస్ dynamically we have to insert the values to the dynamic array. Okay, so let us see for integer or string. Okay, this arrays. Dynamic arrays. Yeah, okay, I'll discuss about the material. Okay, dynamic arrays then include the public static void main. If I have created an integer array is equal to new int of some size here. The size should be some integer. Now a dynamic integer array will be created with the size 5. Now from the scanner class, we should have to insert the values dynamically. System.in here. Okay, so we'll make a for loop for this because there are multiple elements, 5 elements. For 5 elements, for reading the 5 elements, this is a bad approach like error of 0, accessing like this. Okay, sc dot next int and to the error of 1, reading again with another integer and to the error of 2. This is a bad approach. Like this we cannot provide 5. Suppose afterwards if you might have increased your array size, we have to make one more statement like this. Ala any array size enta provide cheste మనం అన్ని స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ని యాడ్ చేసుకోవాలి స్టాటిక్ గా డిక్లేర్ చేస్తే. అదే ఒక ఫర్ లూప్ చేసుకుంటే బెస్ట్ కదా. ఇట్స్ బెటర్ టు మేక్ ఎ ఫర్ లూప్ ఫర్ దిస్. వెరీ సింపుల్, just a for loop. Int I starts from 0, the I less than error dot length and I plus plus. Just after starting this for loop, wait, yeah. Okay, so instead of the value, the raw value, I can push index I. Now the I value can be anything. And before reading these values, better to provide some message. Enter element I plus 1. Okay, that means enter element 1, next enter element 2, next enter element 3, element 4 and element 5. అలా 5 different elements వస్తాయి. 5 different పొజిషన్స్ లోకి వాల్యూని పుష్ చేస్తారు. మీరు ఎంటర్ చేసే 5 values ని 5 different పొజిషన్స్ లోకి పుష్ చేస్తారు. So while at the time of displaying, let us make one more loop to display. The first loop is to read the values and the second loop is used to display the elements. Okay, so there's this out. Element plus I plus 1 is, we can show the element from array of the given index, okay, so this out your array values are as follows. So ఈ మెసేజ్ చూపించిన తర్వాత మన అరే వాల్యూస్ డిస్ప్లే చేస్తున్నాం. ఎలిమెంట్ 1 is, ఎలిమెంట్ 2 is అని చెప్పేసి. సో ఎలిమెంట్ 1 some value, element 2 some different, element 3 and element 4, then element 5. So there your array values are as follows: element 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so like this a dynamic array declaration can be done like this. And even you can make this size as a dynamic. మీరు సైజ్ ని కూడా డైనమిక్ గా తీసుకోవచ్చు. ఈ నెంబర్ 5 ని కూడా డైనమిక్ గా మనం రీడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. Let me show you that. So I'll create similar example with student array again. I'll create a program student array. So first we should have to declare scanner object. Sc is equal to new scanner of system.in. Now ask the user to enter how many students. Okay, how many students. So ఎంతమంది స్టూడెంట్ డీటెయిల్స్ స్టోర్ చేయాలా అని అడుగుతుంది. After that you are going to input some value. So number is equal to number of students. So the number of students. Now sc dot. What's the method you have to call? Next int. Sc dot next int. Then create the student array here. A dynamic array. I'm creating student array dynamically. St array. So st array is equal to new student of the number of students. You can push the number of students here. Now whatever the value we are going to see, there is an error. That means we have to import the student from the package APSSDC dot variables dot student. Okay, import ssdc dot variables dot student to import the student class to the current class. Now the student class is available, then we can make student array here. So the student array can hold multiple student objects, but dynamically, but not like statically. So earlier we have done it like a static array. Now we're going to make the same thing as dynamic array. Sorry. Now let us write a loop here to read the student object one by one. I equal to 0, I less than str dot the length, even not required. ఇది కూడా అవసరం లేదు మనకు, ఎందుకంటే నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ సైజ్కే కదా అరే క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. అరే సైజ్ మనమే చెప్తున్నాం, నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్టూడెంట్స్, దట్ ఈస్ ద సైజ్ ఆఫ్ యువర్ అరే. So simply we can say I less than number of students, then I plus plus. Now every time we have to create new student, right? ఈ లూప్ రొటేట్ అవుతున్న ఎవ్రీ టైం ఏం చేయాలంటే ఒక కొత్తగా స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. సో ఫస్ట్ టైం ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్, సెకండ్ టైం ఒక ఆబ్జెక్ట్, అంటే ఇంటర్నల్లీ వీ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ద స్టేట్మెంట్ కాల్ న్యూ స్టూడెంట్. ఇది ఒక స్టేట్మెంట్ ఉండాలి, రైట్? అండ్ ఆ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని ఎక్కడైనా స్టోర్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, ఒక రెఫరెన్స్ వేరియబుల్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకొని మనం స్టోర్ చేయొచ్చు. దిస్ ఈస్ నార్మల్ స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్, and this above one is array of student objects. This can hold multiple student objects. Now to this strr, we are pushing multiple st's. That multiple objects ni strr loki insert chestam, where every student object will hold two values kada. So refer to the previous program here. Yes, so every student object holds two values. One is set name, another is set id. ఒక్కొక్క స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ ఐడిని స్టోర్ చేసుకోవాలి. Now we'll ask the user to enter name of the ith student, i plus 1 student. So enter name of the first student, enter name of the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, అట్లా different ways. Okay. Now st dot we have to call set name as it is, and we can push the user enter string to this set name, and immediately after this we have to read the id of a student. Enter id of the ith student, and the method you are supposed to call here is set id. Then the method name is next int. It returns integer. Now the student object contains name and id. See the st, it contains name and id. Now push this entire student object to the strr. ఇప్పుడు అరేలోకి పంపించాలి స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ మొత్తం. ఇప్పుడు st అనే ఒక స్టూడెంట్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ లో నేమ్ ఉంది, ఐడి ఉంది. ఇప్పుడు ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ని పుష్ చేసేయాలి. strr of I is equal to st. సో దట్స్ అప్, వెళ్ళిపోతుంది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ మొత్తం ఇక్కడ అరేలోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, అరేలో ఐ పొజిషన్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. అండ్ దట్ ఎవ్రీ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ కంటైన్స్ two values, ఐడి వాల్యూ అండ్ నేమ్ వాల్యూ. Every time it creates new student, అంటే new object. That new object will be pushed to the ith position of your array. So this is for reading, ఇది రీడింగ్ కోసం. And we can also use it for display with one more loop. వేరే loop లో display చేయాలి. I less than number of student I plus plus. So here student I plus 1 details, student 1 details, student 2 details, as it is in the one చేసిన loop. Okay, so by using the same object you have to get student ID and student name. So sys out name of a student st array of I dot get name. Same again for ID, the label is ID. So there our program is done now. Let us break the line. Yes, there we have line break. Now execute this program. Now you can see we can create any number of students as you want. If I create 7 students, name of the first student, second student, third student, fourth student, like this. Okay, and the fifth student details, then the sixth student details here. Last student, because I would like to create 7 student objects, that's why the 7 student objects are being created. For 7 students we have to submit ID and name, ID and name. So that's going to be common, the 7 student, yeah, last one. And so if you press enter button you can see all the list of student details one by one. Starts with student ID, student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, student 5, 6 and 7. So multiple student details here. Okay, see how much powerful these arrays are. Not only just storing the primitives, also they can store array of objects. Also they can store array of objects. Okay, yeah. So then now let me show you the double dimension arrays. How to create the double dimension arrays. Now we'll look into this double dimension. Yes. So double dimension in the sense, first of all, I will give you the structure, then you can easily understand. So this is an array, right? How about array within an array? Array here. So instead of values and instead of objects, these arrays, these array elements will hold another array. Every array element holds another array here like this. ఒక అరేలో అరే డిక్లేర్ చేస్తాం with multiple sets, inner sets ఉంటాయి. And for this we'll be having structure like this. One, two, three here. Similarly, based on this one. Okay. Now what about indexes? So the first element position, that is 0. Second element position is 1. The third element position is 2. 0, 1, 2. And this is internally, again it holds an array. Again the indexer starts from 0 internally with the inner arrays, with the inner dimension 2, 3, so on. For the next one, 0, 1, and then 2. So again 0 starts with 0, 0 starts with 0, 2, 3, 4 like this. Okay. Let me give you the names. Assume that this is I is equal to, and the inner part, that is going to be J. Again J, and again J. So internally always the J starts from 0 only. I also starts from 0. When I is 0 and J is 0, that would be the first element value. In the first row, assume that I is a row. How many I indexes we have? 3 indexes. That means 3 rows we have. And how many columns are there in the I row? 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. And in the one row, how many columns we have? 1, 2, 3 columns. And in the 2 row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Okay. So different column sizes in each and every internal array we have. So this is a double dimension array. Assume the array name is ARR. If array name is ARR, so ARR of 0, 0. So it shows the element 1 value. ARR of 0, 0, 1. It shows element 2 value. That means what element it is? Row 0 and column 0 value. So it shows the value of row 0 and column 0. Next, the second one, row 0 and column 1 value. So like this. Now how to find the length? So AR.length, that means outer array dot length, it returns the value 3 here, because how many I indexes we have? 0, 1, 2. That means the outer declaration. In the outer declaration, how many sets we have? 3 sets. That's why it returns value 3. Next, error of 0 dot length. Error of 0 dot length. It returns how many sizes? How many elements now? So 0, 1, 2, 3. So total 4 here. Next, error of 1 dot length, it will return 3 because in the second set we have 3 elements. In the first set we have 4 elements. Next, error of 2 dot length, it returns 5 because there we have 5 sets. 5 sets in the last row. In the last row we have 5 sets. Okay, like this we can get the sizes. Okay, now comes to the syntax part. When it comes to syntax for declaring double dimension arrays in static way, so that is data type, some array name, bracket, because this is the only signature that makes that array as a double dimension array. And we have to make, so this is the outer set, and every set contains some set of internal sets. The set contains set of internal sets like this. Okay, so element 1, so on up to n. Again we can declare element, it's better to make short. Okay, e1 comma e2, so on up to n. Again here also we can declare element 1, element 2, so on up to m, and every column can contain different sizes. Element 1, element 2, element 3, so on up to m. So like this you have to declare the double dimension array. Oh shit, wait, this is giving some issues. Yeah, for example, if I would like to create a character array, since somebody have turned on the camera, web camera, please stop the web camera. Okay, thank you. Because I'm getting performance notifications, please don't turn on your web cameras. Okay, so if I create any character array, multi-dimension here, so bracket set bracket set bracket. Now I can declare multiple characters. So this is the first set as a first element. The first set is the first element, and make the second set as a second element. Okay, and the third element. The last element. The last element can contain some different characters. Okay, so totally how many sets we have here? Set 1, set 2, set 3, and set 4. And the sizes of every individual set is different. Okay, now sure, let's do the program for this. double dimension I declare a character array is equal to assign some multiple sets, multiple sets here. Yeah, and one, sorry, characters. You are supposed to insert the characters because that is a character array. In single quotes, you have to provide the characters. The last one. Okay. Now try to display all these characters in a matrix form. Okay, matrix form like display like a row by row, and multiple values in every row, like multiple columns in every row. We'll display it like row by row. So like make the for loop int I is equal to 0, I less than ch arr dot length and I plus plus. Okay, here the outer box will be like rows will be pointed by the I and the columns will be pointed by j. Okay, so while accessing these elements, I told you how to access these elements. So error of 0 0 0 1, that means 0th row 0th column and 0th row 1 column. So for all I values there should be multiple j values. For all I values అంటే ఒక 0th column తీసుకుంటే 0th row తీసుకుంటే అక్కడ అన్ని కాలమ్స్ మనం ఇటరేట్ చేయాలి. నెక్స్ట్ 1 column తీసుకుంటే rest of the columns iterate చేయాలి. So that's why I'm going to make a nested loop here, that is called one more loop in the for loop, a nested for loop. Int j is equal to 0. I'll make it start from 0 and j less than ch array of I అంటే that particular set, ఆ సెట్ లో ఎన్ని ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయో మళ్ళీ లెంగ్త్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ చేసి మనకి రిటర్న్ చేస్తుంది. Okay, so j less than ch array of I dot length, then you can call j plus plus. Chrr of I means the first set, after I plus plus that would be the second set, after I plus plus the third set, and after I plus plus the fourth set. Okay, now display the values and let us use the print method. Don't use the println because I would like to show one set of characters in a single row. ఈ characters అనే ఒక row లో, ఈ next characters ఇంకొక row, next characters ఇంకొక row, and next characters ఇంకొక row, అలా different rows లో చూపించాలి. That's why I'll make CHERR of I, that is row index, and next index is J, that is columns index. J is the column index and I would be the row index. Fine. Now execute the program. Okay, one more problem here. I'll break the line after displaying the row. Row display చేసిన తర్వాత line break చేస్తే line break అయిన తర్వాత I plus plus కి వెళ్తుంది. When if it go to I plus plus, then that would be in the next iteration. Next iteration అంటే next row. And you can add space. ఒక space యాడ్ చేస్తే characters కొంచెం ఫ్రీగా కనిపిస్తుంది. C characters. Okay. So this is how I would like to display the values. Now the same thing here, but how can we make this double dimension array as a dynamic array? దీన్ని ఇప్పుడు dynamic array చేయాలి. For that what we can do, and that is called dynamic way. The syntax is almost same with the single dimension dynamic. We'll increase two brackets ante. Okay, two brackets perugutundi. Rest of the thing is same. As usual, array name is equal to new data type of size of row and on one more bracket that would be size of column. So columns ఎన్ని కావాలి, rows ఎన్ని కావాలో మనం ఇంటీజర్ లో స్పెసిఫై చేస్తే సరిపోతుంది. Okay, then sure, let us do the program for this. It's very simple, not that much difficult. Once if we have understand this, dynamic 2D, creating dynamic 2D, that means dynamic double dimension. So shall we create names? That means string to create chedama st array, and that would be the dynamic double dimension array, dynamic double dimension. So new string of 3 by 4. What is this? 3 by 4. That means it allows 3 rows and where I can put 4 columns in every. Okay, 3 rows I can put 4 columns. In each row I can put 4 columns. So for dynamic arrays we should have to create a scanner class object to read the values dynamically from the users. So creating scanner object as it is, system.in, and the system.out.println, no, not here, that should be in the for loop. Okay, should have to put it in the for loop. Int I is equal to 0, I less than st array dot length, then I plus plus, st array dot length, then I plus plus. Just open the for loop, write some message here, enter, not here, wait, one more loop we should have to do one more loop here. That is j loop. J less than strr of I dot length, then j plus plus. That is with j loop. Now here you can show the message, enter I and j position value. Okay, enter I j value. So by this actually we can come to know for what row and in which column we are inserting the value. So ఏ row లో ఏ column లో value insert చేస్తాం మనకు క్లియర్ గా తెలుస్తుంది ఇలాంటి మెసేజెస్ ఇవ్వడం. So let us read the values. These are strings, right? అది string array కదా. STAR to the I position, to the I row and to the j column. Just insert, assign the user entered value. Sc dot, what's the method to read the strings? Next method. Okay, and after reading this, we'll make another loop for displaying the values. j is equal to 0, j less than strarray dot length and j plus plus. Sorry, this is I, right? Wait. Okay, no problem. So we'll make the j as a row and I as a column. So then what? Do you think program didn't work out anukuntunara? So there will be no issues. So equal to 0, I less than, you can say st array, wait, st array of, this time I'll make the j as a row index, I as a column index. ఇప్పుడు I j నేనా j I ని ఇవ్వకూడదా ఎందుకు ఇవ్వరు then j plus plus sorry I plus plus. I will display the value by using print method. Just assign the value st error of I and j, st error of I and j. Just add a space after that. Now we can see the values in a matrix form again here also. After showing the entire row మొత్తం output వచ్చిన తర్వాత break the line. We'll break the line. Execute the program now. Control F11. So enter 00 value. It is asking to enter 00 value. APC DF GHI JKL PQR. Now here on the first row. 0th row అయిపోయింది ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ row లో ST V W X Y Z. Now we're in the second row and 2 1. Can insert numbers for string. String numbers enter చేయొచ్చు కదా. With anything can be considered as string here. Even if you insert numbers, the numbers will also be considered as strings in Java. When if you are reading with the next method, exclusively when you are reading with the next method. So fine, that is the last element. We are about to finish this and press enter button. So you see, oh, there is an issue. Somewhat some index out of bound here. That's with ji. That should not be ij. Okay, that should be ji. So again execute the program abc df hi jkl o qr v w x y z. Okay, so this is the last one. Okay, see the output then. The dynamic double dimension array. How to read the values to the dynamic double dimension and display. So this is for reading and this is for display. If you understand the single dimension dynamic, then easily the double dimension would be very easy. But for single dimension, we'll make only one index. Here we should have to take care about 2 indexes for double dimension because it's a combination of rows and columns. Right? Yeah, that's it. And let me copy this. Yep. Then okay. So now we are done with the single dimension arrays as well as double dimension arrays. Now let's go on with the for each loop. Okay, so declaring the for each loop. And what is the use of for each loop? So far in the your arrays programs, in our arrays programs, we have used a for loop. It's not a for each loop. మనం ఇలా for loop యూజ్ చేసాం. ఇలా for loop ఇలా I equal to 0, I less than length, I plus plus ఇవన్నీ లేకుండా డిస్ప్లే చేయాలంటే there is a way. Okay, let me explain that for each. Yeah, RIMS college, they can write the exam at any time only. Exam will be open from morning 8 o'clock to evening 8 o'clock. Morning 8 నుంచి evening 8 వరకు ఎప్పుడైనా ఓపెన్ లో ఉంటుంది ఎగ్జామ్. ఓకే, సో విల్ ప్రొవైడ్ ద సెక్యూరిటీ కోడ్. ఎగ్జామ్ ఓపెన్ చేయాలంటే సెక్యూరిటీ కోడ్ ఉంటుంది. సో వన్స్ వాళ్ళు లాగిన్ అయిన తర్వాత సెక్యూరిటీ కోడ్ కోసం వెయిట్ చేయాలి స్టూడెంట్స్. ఆ సెక్యూరిటీ కోడ్ ఇస్తాను, మీరు వాళ్ళకి చెప్పండి, వాళ్ళు ఎగ్జామ్ రాసేస్తారు స్టూడెంట్స్. జస్ట్ 40 or 50 minutes ఎగ్జామ్, 40 minutes or 50 minutes ఎగ్జామ్, అంతమించి ఎక్కువసేపు ఉంటుంది. ఆన్లైన్ ఎగ్జామ్. ఆల్రెడీ ఐ హావ్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ URL అండ్ డెమో, రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ డెమో, అంటే రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఎలా చేసుకోవాలి ఏంటి అనేది ప్రొసీజర్ అంతా వీడియో రికార్డ్ చేశాను. అదంతా కూడా కోఆర్డినేటర్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేశాను. వెరీ సూన్ దే విల్ ఫార్వర్డ్ యూ దట్ మెసేజ్. టాపిక్స్ వచ్చేసి బేసిక్స్ పార్ట్, బేసిక్స్ అంటే JVM, JRE, స్ట్రక్చర్స్, సో ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి. దెన్ బేసిక్స్, వేరియబుల్స్ టాపిక్ అండ్ డేటా టైప్స్. బేసిక్స్, వేరియబుల్స్ అండ్ డేటా టైప్స్. బేసిక్స్ లో కొంత థియరిటికల్ పార్ట్ ఉంటుంది. వేరియబుల్స్, డేటా టైప్స్ కొంచెం లిటిల్ బిట్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకేనండి. RIMS college, any questions? Okay. Now let us see the for each demo. Let us create an integer array or some other any array, not only just integer array. We can create any array here. As usual, we'll create the string array. Yeah, multiple choice questions only. No theoretical, no descriptive questions. Only, I mean, they need not to type the program or need not to provide the description. Just they have to choose their answer. Multiple choice questions. Okay, now let me display this string, this string of array. ఈ array ని ఇప్పుడు for each loop తో display చేస్తాను చూడండి. The keyword itself is a for, but that is a different one here, like this. See, there is no initialization, there is no condition checking, there is no increment. Automatically the for each loop will increment to the next element. Yeah, I'll speak about the Java materials soon. Definitely. I need to discuss with them, APSSDC people. I'll let you know them. And in the system.out.println, here we have a string. Wait. We'll show the values. Yes. Just yes. So what is this yes? ఎస్ అంటే ఒక టెంపరరీ వేరియబుల్, అదేం స్టోర్ చేస్తుంది, str అంటే అరే, str is an array. So this is a kind of for each loop. This for each loop will return element by element. First it returns the zeroth element to the s. S ని డిస్ప్లే చేస్తుంది అంటే zeroth element ఆంధ్ర డిస్ప్లే చేస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్ ఆటోమేటిక్ str నెక్స్ట్ పొజిషన్కి వెళ్తుంది తెలంగాణ. సో it stores the Telangana. Then it stores Kerala. Then it stores Karnataka. It's very easy and comfortable for making iteratives for arrays. Arrays ని iterate చేయడానికి ఇది చాలా బాగుంటుంది అన్నమాట for each loop. For loop is a common thing. Everyone used to have the for loop, but it's better to have a for each loop like this. This is a for each loop, very simple. But the type of this temporary variable is depends on array type. ఇప్పుడు array string కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ temporary variable కూడా string అని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. And the temporary variable name వచ్చేసి s, data type వచ్చేసి string. ఒకవేళ ఇది integer అయితే, if it is integer array, I should have to make an integer temporary variable here to store the value, the element at a time. The current element will be stored by this temporary variable. See the value output. చూడండి ఎంత సింపుల్ గా అవుట్పుట్ వస్తుంది. వెరీ లెస్ కోడ్. మనం లెంగ్త్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయట్లేదు, i++ అనట్లేదు, ఇండెక్సెస్ యూజ్ చేయట్లేదు. బట్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద మోస్ట్ కంఫర్టబుల్ అండ్ బెటర్ ఫర్ ఇటరేటింగ్ ద arrays. See this. Yeah, no problem. Then need to click on it. Okay. So any questions here? This is very easy for each loop. Any other questions? Still we have something here to discuss: passing an arrays, returning arrays, and anonymous arrays. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So any questions so far? Any other questions? Okay, seems very hectic for you, the today's topic, because a lot of things are there: single dimension and double dimension, in static way and dynamic way, right? And also for each loop. No problem. We'll discuss the arrays, passing arrays to a method, and returning arrays from methods, and anonymous methods, and anonymous arrays tomorrow. So we'll discuss these three concepts tomorrow. I'll stop here for today. So any other questions from any of the colleges, students? Yeah, questions? Questions, please. Okay. Yeah, Vijay Kumar Garu, I'll send you that video link also. You can just go through the video link for online registration demo, for online exam registration demo. You can drop your email address. I'll send you now itself. Yeah, Java material. We'll speak about that. Anyways, I'll give you the intimation tomorrow.